around 1 mile. So that's what you see now in front of you very well, the bridge, 25th of April. And then to the other side, although there's a little bit of fog, I hope you can see it, on the other side of the river, although it was way after the Second World War, the reason why it was built was to thank God that we didn't take place in the Second World War. We were neutral, as you know. Portugal was one of the neutral countries. So that's why this religious monument was built. Of course, it follows the idea of the one in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, the Corcovado. So there was a Portuguese priest that went to Brazil and saw the other Christ and thought we could have a similar one, and that's why you have this one here. Anyway, the reason for the one in Brazil, which was inaugurated much before in 1931, is completely different. It's not a religious reason. The reason for the one in Brazil, it's because they were commemorating 100 years of independence of Brazil. Now of a caravel sailing off to the sea. First to the river and then to the sea. Now the other one to the right, what you see rich and powerful Portugal was and Lisbon was in the time of the discoveries. It's a monument that dates back, it's a monastery that dates back to the 16th century by the king in that time. So beginning of the 16th century, the king was King Manuel I, and he sent this fortress to be built in order to protect the most important entry in the city of Lisbon. It was not an entry through the road, because we're not speaking about a time with cars.
Oh, yeah.
Better to say, in just 200 years. Now, it's important for you to understand as well, and that was here to the left. It's important for you to understand as well that not all those places marked on the map were our colonies. With most of them, we would have a guard ahead, just a guard ahead. But he will be here soon, or maybe he's already. The river was wider than it is today, because only in the 19th century, with the Industrial Revolution, this area where we're crossing was built, this earth area, we earned it to the river. So, something interesting here is that the tower that you're going to see now to the left, the best view you can have from the tower is really from here, to the left. This tower was built in the middle of the water, because where we're riding, it was water in the 16th century. And so, when it was built in such a way that as it was a fortress, what happened was that it was preventing certain ships to come in. So no ship, although it was in the middle of the water, no ship could cross behind it because it was not deep enough, although there was water. They would always have to cross in front of it, just like your ship did. Now the style that you have here, because he believed he was the owner of the world. We had colonies everywhere that was known to the Europeans. So we were very rich and powerful, so why not choosing his own symbol of his own reign, the world sphere? So everything that is sent to be built had to have that world sphere.
Right in the middle of the port, Our Lady of Bethlehem, just past the Jesus is the baby, okay? Now that's why the neighborhood is called Bethlehem. Because the most important church is still today the parish church of the quarter.
30 mil inscritos. O aluguel do carro?
And what you have here is the best picture, the best statue of the time from King Manuel. We have been speaking about him all the time. He is over there, kneeling with long hair. That's King Manuel. And to the right, you see still in Bethlehem, where the kings come visit Jesus and bring presents. So that's the theme of this church. What happened in that? It became all state property because the winner of the Civil War was a liberalist king, and he believed not in the power of the religious.
Oh, there you are.
Now what you have here is then what was responsibility of the king following Manuel, his son, John III. And then he died and his widow, the Queen Catherine, was responsible for finality. So these were the kings before 1580, the two last kings before 1580. Now the last king died very young, Sebastian.
But before the earthquake, the warehouses of all the products we would trade with Europe, between colonies in Europe, were here. The businessmen were working here. King Manuel had his palace here. So imagine the activity in this area, business activity, trade activity. And that's why we speak still today about trade square. Now the man on horseback that you see in the middle, to the left, in the middle of the square, that is Joseph I, the king at the time of the earthquake. So you know the prime minister, and now you know. Remember we just spoke about that? That's on the top of the hill. Now for you to understand that, it's like this. When we speak about Lisbon, beginning of Lisbon as being part of Portugal, we speak about only that hill that has the castle on the top. And that's the hill we're going to see the already. And the Visigoths were already Christians. So they gathered on the north of the peninsula, what is today North Spain, and they organized with the help of the Crusaders that were on their way to Israel, on their way to Holy Lands. They helped us to conquer all these places back again, to reconquer. So it was a war between Catholics and Muslims. And slowly Portugal was built from north to south with the same borders that you know today of this quarter in the city of Lisbon. Okay? So that's the story of all this, the history of all this area. So former presidents of the Republic already dead, artists, writers, they are normally buried there. We had the modern port of Lisbon here underneath where we're riding.
And also connected with Asia were the people from Netherlands in that time, so it's normal that they also follow. You see the Portuguese blue
Oh, yeah.
At the end, you have Rousseau Square and the theater. In case you miss your track, theater, we say teatro. National, we say nacional. National theater, everyone will understand. Okay. We still have all